Thanks for coming back to our channel. I'm Craig.
Who am I?
I don't know. You're a stranger to me now. You changed.
I have.
Yes. We actually can find links to my storygraph. Is that sickness still?
That was a birthday gift for me.
To yourself?
For myself.
Fix my thing here. I should have done that. Just ruined that book. Can't sell it now. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I have 7 books total this month. Maybe 6. I don't know. So I have The Passengers. So we picked it up. Yeah, you should be putting that on your TBR.
But I'm not. I'm kind of going back and forth with that because I prude. Prude.
Of all the things, that's not me, but you know. I'm Craig.
I'm Wilfred Brimley.
He's dead.
We're back.
I feel like we do this every single time, but we are back. Welcome back to our channel. We are so sorry that we have been gone. We got very sick, both of us, at the same time. Me first, and then David's lasted a little bit longer than mine did. Yeah, it's my fault. It's probably all the dirty children I'm around every single day that gave it to me, and then I inadvertently gave it to David. So yeah, we were out of commission for about a week, which was great. So we didn't get any filming done. We barely got any reading done. So we do apologize for us being gone. Are you feeling better?
No.
No. He's still in the tail end of it.
I'm about 75%
Yeah.
here, really.
And I'm almost 90, so we're getting there. We're getting there. On the day of recording this, we're about the middle of May at this point, and we have yet to do a April wrap-up for you.
Wrap-up?
Yeah. TBR.
TBR.
Yeah. Any kind of check-ins at all?
No.
Yeah. So what we decided to do in the interest of time is that we're going to combine our April wrap-up and our May TBR into one. And rather than going through the full report cards, which if you really want to see those, we will do them and post them on our Instagrams, and you can find that there. But we will just do like a rapid fire, talk about the books that we read, give them a quick grade, and then at the end, we'll reveal the books we're going to read this month in May. Some of them we've already read.
Hurry up.
Yeah.
It'll be another late one.
Yeah. But before we get too deep into it, welcome back to our channel. We are Shelf Possessed. I am Craig.
And I'm David.
And we are a gay couple living in the Midwest, and we love to read books, talk about books, share books, anything related to books we love, and we're glad that you're here to join us for that. If you want to check out more of our stuff, check out the description box below. You can find links to our Instagram, to my story graph, and any other pertinent things that might be related to what we're talking about. And I'll also put links to all the books we're talking about down there as well, so if you're curious. How'd you feel about your April?
My April was horrible. I think that I just had a lot going on in April, and then getting sick was probably not the best thing in the world. But I would say I probably got, well, you read more than I did. You?
You know, I did say after March that I was nervous because I had a good reading month in March. And I was like, I don't know where this is going to take me. I don't know what's going to happen, but weirdly, April was also a good month. I got 7 books read. You know, 2 of the books I read because, you know, the books we picked for each other. I also was able to finish The Accomplice, which I had talked about at the beginning of the month. And then at the end of the month, if you saw my reading vlog, which I've already put up, I got 3 books in less than a week. So I got those added on as well. Plus, Elizabeth from Reading Riley had suggested a book, and I picked it up, and I actually got that done in like 24 hours as well. So I was able to get 7 books in this month, which is great. I'm really happy about that. So in the interest of time and making sure that we're not like keeping you here for like 45 minutes, we'll just do round robin, quick back and forth about the books that we picked for each other. We'll just talk briefly about them, give them a grade, and then move on to the next one. And then by the end, you'll see our May TBRs as well. So do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll start with the one that I had the most trouble with. And that was N.K. Jemisin's The City We Became. So I read this very early on when you gave it to me, and I cannot tell you now what it was about.
You couldn't have told me right when you finished it what it was about, really.
So I think I may need you to explain it to me, because I think it was a lot of going back to the beginning or going back several pages. And so maybe I need to read it again, I guess, because the second book is coming out in November. Is that right? So I don't think I could wrap my head around it. And I'm not really good with sci-fi fantasy books.
Yeah.
So what did you think about it when you read it?
I felt similarly in a lot of ways that I didn't really think I understood what was going on, but then the more I marinated on it, the more I was able to understand that, like...
But you liked it.
I did. Because of what it's a metaphor for, and like what it means for these like cities to awake, and for these people to like represent the cities, especially in New York, where those people are like representing each borough. Like each one of those people has like something about them that represents that borough. And that they're basically like they're the ones who are rising up to fight this thing that's coming alive.
You probably should have told me that beforehand. Maybe I would have had a better time with it.
I feel like that's pretty clear, isn't it?
I guess, because I stopped and I started quite a bit with this, and then it was just like I needed to power through. So there were some things that kind of flew over my head that I was just like, maybe I'm not smart enough to read this book. So maybe the second book, because I think she's going to expand it a little bit more.
Well, there's talk of other cities too,
other countries, I think, because there's like going to be like a global summit or something. So I think in another maybe couple of months, when the second book comes out, I'll kind of come back and read that. But for me, it was kind of I was kind of blank the whole time while I was reading it.
Well, then my prediction was right. I win.
But that wasn't no.
I win because I picked a book that I thought that you'd hate, and you hated it.
I don't hate it.
You didn't like it.
I'm stupid.
You're not really stupid. I just didn't say that. That's not
You're talking about the city awakening. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to give this book a B.
It's not terrible. Well, the first one that David gave me was 5 Deaths for 7 Songbirds by John Everson. So this was the first book that David gave me. Not the first book I read this month, but I did not like this book, unfortunately. I liked it up until the end. And like the Giallo thing is very clear. And like once I got into the book and like I did some research about other Giallo stuff, I understood the cover more. I understood like the choice for the cover. And like the setting is cool. It's like a music school like in Eastern Europe, and all these students keep dying, but they're all female students, and they're all technically linked to this.
And murdered with their instruments.
Yeah, graphically murdered with instruments, or related to instruments at least. And the 7 Songbirds is like a band that they're all in together, and like there's the professor who is in some ways a red herring. There's actually lots of red herrings, which kind of is the problem I have with it. There's too many red herrings, I think. And then like the actual reveal of it, I was like, well, that's, I said that like in the first 20 pages, I bet it's that person. So yeah, there's just long stretches of it that don't make sense, and long stretches of it that just like, why are they staying at this school? Like, why are they here if these people continue to get murdered? Like, why have they not shut the school down? Because they don't shut the school down until like 20 pages until the end.
Because education is expensive.
Yeah. So, overall, not the worst book I've ever read. I read through it. I read through it pretty quickly. I think if I was going to give it like just a quick grade, I'm going to give it like a C plus. So that's 5 Deaths for 7 Songbirds.
I can't wait to read it. My next book is Adrian McKinty's The Chain, which, okay, I really, 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 really liked this book very, very much. I didn't think I was going to. I was going to ask you this. I was going to have this conversation with you the other day, but there are some books that we've read recently that I'm like, it feels like the author wrote this because there was going to be a series, or they have like a series in mind.
Oh, like a TV series.
Yeah, because that's what this reads like. And I think his next book, The Island, which comes out next week, I think
it's already been
it's
sold.
already been optioned.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this book reads like. It's very, very fast, and it's goes by very, very quick. So the female protagonist is one that in other books I've never read about before. She is a cancer survivor, and her child ends up going missing. The kidnappers call her and say, okay, in order to get your daughter back, you need to kidnap another kid, setting off this chain of events that has been going on for years and years and years. It was very gripping, very compelling, and I gave it an A.
Good. I'm excited to read that one. We've owned it for a long time, and I just had never read it. So
I got through it very, very fast, but that was one of the questions I was going to ask you about, because it reads like they wrote it with a series in mind.
Yeah.
So
the next one that David picked for me of a book that he thought I would hate is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, and I'm safe to report that I did not hate this book. I actually quite liked this book a lot. Weirdly, the 3 books that I read at the beginning of the month, which was this one, The 5 Deaths for 7 Songbirds, and The Accomplice, all have college settings, and like college friends are a big part of that. I actually like this one the best out of all of them. I thought it was great. I normally don't like the dual timeline thing, but the dual timeline thing was nice. The killer reveal, great. And like the red herring thing was just enough. Like it wasn't too much. It was just enough. And I actually really enjoyed it. Like I thought I was going to hate it as it was going, but I actually really liked it. I'm going to give this one an A. So good choice.
So that was 50-50.
50-50. An A and a C for me.
That was an A and a B.
A and a B, not terrible.
Okay, so those are the 2.
Those are the ones we picked for each other, and now we'll talk about the ones that we read on our own. Well, the first one, which I just talked about, is The Accomplice by Lisa Lutz. This is soon to leave our house. The grade I'm going to give this is a D. That's like the harshest I've been on a book, I think, in a long time. But I think it's without looking at my grade card. I'm just like, from my brain. I hated this book. I hated it. I hated every part of it. I hated the dual timeline. I hated the characters. I didn't like any of them. I thought the writing was poor. I thought everything about this book was bad. Just bad. And it wasn't for me. I'm sure somebody in somewhere will enjoy this. And like the idea of this woman and this man being like best friends since college, and then basically having to cover for each other, and become each other's accomplices, if you will, and to save each other when they need to save each other. Like that is really interesting. I just don't think it was executed at all well. So that's The Accomplice. Don't read it. Or, I mean, if that's something that you're interested in, read it, please, by all means. But I really hated it, and I need to get rid of it. So if you'd like a copy of The Accomplice, comment down below, and I'd be happy to send it to you. The next one I read is from suggested to me from Reading Riley, which is Elizabeth, who's now a friend. Hello, and that is Fantasticland by Mike Brockovin. This is a horror thriller novel set after a hurricane in an amusement park, and it kind of turns into like a Lord of the Flies situation at the amusement park, and like these factions kind of divide off at this like Disney-esque amusement park. It's told in like interview format, so it's kind of after this has all happened, and the people who were involved, who are still alive, are being interviewed about what happened. It's actually very compelling, and the the way the interviews kind of are structured forward, and pull you through the action of what happened. It's also very graphic. I wasn't prepared for how graphic it was, but like the hurricane part of the story was really compelling. And then watching these groups kind of splinter off and then looking at why they did, and like, yeah, it was great. I gave this one like an A-, so I really liked this one a lot.
The only other one that I read in April was Anna Dorn's Exalted, where we follow two main characters, Emily and Dawn. Emily is kind of like this curator of this astrology website or Instagram account, and Dawn is she's one of the kind of like one of these people who are obsessed with that astrology account. And it kind of goes back and forth between their two stories, and at the very end we kind of see how those stories are linked. I can't say too much more about that because anything other than that will spoil this book. This quickly became in my top 4 so far of this year. There was a moment when I was reading it, and I was reading it over the weekend, and Craig kind of walked by, and I kind of gasped at something in the book that I was not aware of, or not even, didn't even cross my mind until it happened. And then I said, holy bleep. And then the story kind of changes, and I was like sold from the very beginning. So I love it when books do that. It's now up there with the old woman with a knife as one of my favorites of the year. It's supposed to be published in June, so whenever it comes out, please grab a copy of that, because it was fun, and these two characters are really, really just awesome. And I think Dawn, I'm obsessed with characters whose names begin with the letter D, probably because mine does too.
Yeah.
So, but this was such a fun book, and these two characters were very, very interesting and very, very complex, which I just absolutely loved. So that was an A+ for me.
We should also say a big thank you to Unnamed Press, because they sent us this last month, 2 months before its publication date, and to read along with a few other books. So we are really grateful that they sent those to us, because we are a huge fan of Unnamed Press. They are the publisher of A Certain Hunger, someone's favorite book. And so I'm excited now that he's read this to read it myself, and really along with the 2 others they really sent. Good. So yeah, thank you, Unnamed Press. I will put their website and all that stuff below. If you don't know their authors or what they publish, they have a really good selection of like independent authors, people that you're not going to see everywhere else. So I'll put a link down to them below.
Just a class act.
Yeah. To quickly go over, I'm not going to spend too much time on these last 3, because if you've watched our reading vlog of me reading these 3, you know what I thought about these. The only physical copy I have is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, but I will pop up. There's The One by John Mars, and 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. Those are the 3 books that I read in the last week of April. And of the 3 of them, the one that I liked the least was 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. That book I'm going to give a C. The one I liked the most was The One by John Mars, and that's an A. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell is probably like an A-, B+ for me. When I started it, I thought I was going to hate it. By the end, I really loved it and thought it was great. And I just found out the other day, there's a sequel. Not really a sequel, but like a sequel. It's called The Family Something. I can't remember what it's called, but like...
It's not a sequel, it's a sequel.
It's not a sequel necessarily. It like takes place in the same universe, and there's some characters from this book that are involved in that book as well, which I did not know was happening, so I will be anxious to read that. So my books kind of span all over this month. Like I've got A's to D's, which never happens. So, but I did get 7 books read in the month of April, so I'm super stoked about that. So as a quick review for me, and then I'll have David do his, The Accomplice by Lisa Lutz, D. 5 Deaths for 7 Songbirds, C. 9 Lives by Peter Swanson, that would also be a C. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, B+. In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, A. Fantasticland, A. And The One by John Mars, A.
Okay. I gave The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin a B+. Question mark, because I think I'm going to wait for the second book and then maybe I'll go back and everything will probably make sense the second time around. Adrian McKinty's book, The Chain, got an A for me. Fantastic, fun ride. And Anna Dorn's Exalted, my favorite of the year.
One of your favorites of the year.
So far.
Yeah.
A+.
And then we're going to quickly transition to our May TBRs. As I said, this is the middle of May when we're putting this out, so some of these we may have already started. I'm gonna, about half of mine, 3 of mine I've already read or started, so I'm gonna try not to give as many thoughts about how I'm feeling about the books. But yeah, I'm gonna be ambitious in May because the school is over and I know I can get a lot read in that last week of May, just because my first book for May is Edward Ashton's Mickey 7. Completely outside my comfort zone. It's a space book. It's sci-fi. I saw Gabby from Gabby Reads talk about this on her channel, and it sounded interesting. It's been compared a lot to Hail Mary by Andy Weir, which I also haven't read, which I might read this summer. But it's about an astronaut who is created as basically a clone to go out in space and like do dangerous missions, so that when he does eventually die, they just recreate him. And this book is about Mickey number 7 and kind of what he's going through on the spaceship. So I'm excited to read this one as well. I've already read it. So eventually I'll share my thoughts with you about this book. So my next one is Blood Sugar by Sasha Rothschild. Actually, I just finished this morning as we were filming, so I'll have more thoughts. Female serial killer. The title says, well, the tagline says, she's accused of 4 murders, but only guilty of 3. So yeah, more thoughts about this. But this woman who wrote this was one of the writers and creators on The Carrie Diaries, Glow, The Babysitter's Club, all shows that we really like. And so I was really excited to pick this up. And you said this was on your wish list for a long time?
Mm-hmm. But I like it.
I don't know. Find out at the end of the month.
Okay. So my first book is going to be Burning Butch by R.B. Mertz. So it is a genderqueer, non-binary memoir about a butch girl transcending an oppressive and intolerant world. Also gifted from
Unnamed Press.
Press.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start my month off with that.
And this book is already out. It came out in April 5th.
So, yeah.
So if you want to pick up a copy, you can do that.
So I'm excited for that. I don't really read a lot of memoirs. So I'm excited for that. Especially with Pride season coming around the corner.
That's a good one. That's a good one to read this month before June.
Mm-hmm.
So, my next one is one I've also already finished, but because I read The One by John Mars. I mean, I feel like when I mentioned her a bunch in this video, but Elizabeth, Reading Riley, told me I should read The Passengers by John Mars. We own The Passengers, so I picked it up, and I've already finished this one as well. This is another like sci-fi techno thriller that is set in self-driving cars, and someone kind of hacks into these self-driving cars and is trying to, they're broadcasting what's happening in these self-driving cars, and they're gonna basically murder some of these people in these cars. So I have lots of thoughts on this book, so I'm excited to share those with you. But I am enjoying John Mars. I'm going to pick up one more of his because there's a couple others that look interesting, and he's got a new one coming out this summer, I believe, or maybe this fall. So I'm excited for that as well. So that's my next one.
Okay, so I didn't talk about finishing the book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I didn't necessarily enjoy it as much as everybody else is enjoying it. So I wanted to give her other book, The Broken Girls, a chance and give Simone St. James a second chance, because I think the book of Cold Cases was okay. I just didn't really necessarily understand the hype of it, especially with loving true crime as much as I do. I don't know. I didn't really get it. So I'm gonna try to give Simone St. James a second chance, and that's with The Broken Girls. Okay.
We also own Sundown Motel as well, which I've read, but I haven't read Broken Girls or Book of Cold Cases yet.
Yeah, I think it was. It was okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
If I had to grade it, I'd probably give it a B.
Okay.
But like a B minus.
Yeah. I got the audio for that book, so I might, at some point, if I have time, if I finish all of this stuff, I might pick that up.
Yeah. So I'm going to try. I'm going to do it again. Maybe there was something I didn't miss or I missed with the Book of Cold Cases that she got right in the Broken Girls. So yeah, we'll see. All right.
Cool.
I see hearts.
Yeah. My next one is a just recently published, came out last week, gay rom-com called Never Been Kissed by Timothy Janofsky. Our friend, Allison Cochran, who you've probably seen on this channel before, I'll link her interview down below, who wrote The Charm Offensive, is the one that alerted me to this book. I had not heard of it or knew it was coming out, and she had posted it on her Instagram. And I saw some interviews with the author, and he's adorable and funny, and I was like, oh, that sounds great. And I read, it's it has a lot of movie references, but it's about a young man who has never been kissed and is like waiting to have his like perfect movie kiss. Yeah, so I'm excited to read it. The audio is not out there, or I can't find it, so I'm just gonna have to read this by itself. But yeah, I'm excited. Another good one for Pride Month coming up. So yeah.
Okay, so I've been waiting to read this for a very long time.
To read this. Yeah.
It was on my list too.
I bought this book for myself to read, and he stole it from me.
But it was on my list.
He stole it. You're a thief.
I needed to be in the right frame of mind to read it. So I've been waiting, and I think now is probably the perfect time since school is going to be over. And I'm going to have some time to digest hopefully a really good book, and that is Claire Coda's Woman Eating, that kind of
perfect cover
takes on the vampire trope look. I'm obsessed.
It's a great cover.
I'm obsessed with that cover. So I'm excited to read this book, and that's that.
I'm also going to read that one at some point as well. I sent you the audio for that, didn't I?
I probably.
Yeah. Okay. My last two, I'm sure people have heard about this book or seen it all over. I know it's been all over Instagram. It's been all over Book Talk, all that stuff. So it's Neon Gods by Katie Robert. This is a retelling of the Hades and Persephone myth. So immediately I was like, oh, interesting. That looks really cool. And then I read kind of what it was about, and I was like, that sounds interesting, like a modern take on it. I have started it. I am like this far through it. I had to put it down for a second because this book is smut. And I should have done some due diligence when reading about it, and I was not expecting it. And so I had to put it down for a second because I was just like, oh, okay, that's not what I thought. But I think the concept is really interesting, and the concept is cool, and I liked the writing from when I started. So my goal is to try and finish this month, but we'll see. But sometimes that stuff makes me a little uncomfortable, just a little tiny bit uncomfortable. And I don't know why, but it does. And my last book on my TBR is one it randomly came up online when I was searching for something. And I was like, well, I didn't know she was an author. And then I saw the cover and I was like, that is a beautiful cover, perfect cover. It's great. It's fun and scary and gross. So, and that is Monsters by Emerald Fennell. It's hard to see with the light, but there. It's like a gross looking, beautiful cake that is like falling apart, and there's like a crab and a fly, and yeah. The back says, 2 children you would never want to meet, the beach, the sea, a body, and then another, a girl, a boy, and a summer holiday unlike anything other. And then it says, it's like Roald Dahl meets Muriel Spark. So, because Emerald Fennell has published like a YA children's book. And so when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it must be just another kid's book. But then when I read about it, I was like, no, that's not what this is. So, it looks great, and I'm super excited to read it. And it's, the writing is like, this is why I thought it was a children's book too, because it's a relatively small book, and I don't think it'll take me that long to read, but yeah. Emerald Fennell. I love Emerald Fennell. I love Promising Young Woman. She's great. I can't wait to see what she does next. So it's my TBR for May.
Here's my little offering right here.
So, well, that's our April wrap up and our May TBR all in one video. We hope that you enjoyed us talking about those books. Again, sorry we've been gone. Like, we didn't mean to. We apologize. And sorry that the grading thing was so quick, but we wanted to share what we read and kind of, move through that as quickly as we could without, taking up too much of your time. So, are you excited for these books?
Yeah, I need to get back into the habit of reading.
Yeah.
I think being sick, the last thing I wanted to do was read or do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope these are good. I'm excited for them. There are a few of them I've been waiting a while to read. So I think Burning Butch, I've been waiting a long time to read, and Woman Eating, when that kind of showed up. I forgot where I was looking, but when it showed up, I was like, I need to read that book, and then you got it. So
it's like serendipitous, Yeah. Well, and I think I'm mostly looking forward to being able to finish all of these. Like, of this stack, in reality, where we sit right now, I've only really had to finish 3 of them because I finished the other 3. So I'm excited to have read that many books in a month. But that's 3 months in a row where all my numbers will be relatively high, which I'm excited for. And then hopefully I can make up some of those, those year numbers over the summer. So, yeah. Well, thank you for coming back. We are Self-Possessed. I'm Craig.
I'm David.
And we're so glad that you came back. If you haven't yet, comment down below. What did you think of our grades? What did you think of our book choices? Have you read any of these?
How much did you miss us?
Yeah, tell us how much you missed us. We long for that adoration, We need it. Also, check out our Instagram.
At shelf_possessed.
And check out the links below too. I'm going to link to all of these books. I'm going to link to the Unnamed Press website. You can also check out our Libro FM affiliate link in the comments down below. And I'll click on those other videos, that reading vlog, if you haven't seen those as well. I'll put those down there too. So thank you for coming back, and we will see you again very soon.